4 productivity habits that are actually overwhelming you as a working mom. Hey, I'm Laura Davis, a time management strategist, and I work with working moms who are balancing a career, a business, and motherhood to ditch the hot mess and level up your work-life balance using a proven time management framework. So if you really feel like you are constantly running from one thing to the next, you're juggling work, your business, family responsibilities, but you're still ending the day wondering where all of your time went, you are not alone. You're in the right place. A lot of times, working moms think that if they just work harder, or if they plan better, or if they find the perfect productivity hack on Instagram or TikTok or Pinterest, then they will finally feel on top of everything. But instead, they feel exhausted, still behind, and drowning in a never ending to do list. And it turns out that the habits that they thought were helping them be more productive were actually making things worse. And I see this all the time with women who I work with inside of Time Management Academy. So in today's episode, I'm breaking down 4 productivity habits that are secretly overwhelming you and what to do instead so that you can actually get more done without feeling like you are always drowning. So let's get into today's episode. The first habit is over planning and overloading your to-do list. Many moms start the day with a long, detailed to-do list, right? Is that you? Have you ever started your day with, here's everything I need to get done today? And thinking that if they just plan well enough, they're going to get everything done. The reality is that when you have a really long to-do list, it becomes overwhelming before the day really even gets started, right? And so you know the feeling I'm talking about where you're staring at your to-do list and you're like, how am I going to get all of this done today? And that's because a long to-do list creates decision fatigue, making it really hard to focus on what's actually important. Because when your brain is having to constantly decide what's important and what you should work on next, you're using up a lot of that energy just on making decisions instead of doing the things that you need to get done. And so by the end of the day, you've worked nonstop, but you feel like you haven't actually accomplished anything. I actually remember one Monday morning several years ago, this was well before Harper, when I wrote down, I don't even remember how many things, but it was like a whole notebook worth, like a big notebook worth of things that I needed to get done. And I remember it was like one column and then half of a page for another column. And it was things like work deadlines, grocery shopping, some emails that I had to return. I didn't even have a business at that time. So there weren't even any business things, but it was stuff for my stepdaughter's school and for dinner prep and cleaning the apartment that we lived in. And there were some wedding things on there that I needed to get done. And I was even writing things down like brush my teeth, make my bed, get dressed, which I have since learned that when I write these things down, it's actually just a really cheap way for my brain to get a dopamine hit. And it's a red flag for me that I'm overwhelmed because when I start to write those things down, I just want something that I know for a fact is going to get checked off. And so that's where I was several years ago. And by that evening, I had really only crossed off, I think 3 or 4 things. And they were the things like get dressed, make your bed, eat dinner, like the things that I knew I was going to do no matter what, were the only things that I had crossed off by that evening. And instead of feeling really accomplished, I actually felt very deflated. And I remember that I was so overwhelmed that I just like shut down. I spent that evening scrolling on my phone on Facebook because back then Facebook was still the big thing. And this day sticks out to me because I was trying so hard to be a good bonus mom. Like my stepdaughter had just started elementary school. I think she may have been in first grade. And I was just trying so hard to like stay on top of things. And, you know, Zach and I were in, I think our first year or first few months of marriage. And it was like, I just remember sitting there holding back tears, feeling defeated because I thought that the only thing I was capable of actually achieving was just laying on the couch scrolling on Facebook. And it was a horrible feeling. Little did I know that a few years later, I would create Time Management Academy because I dug myself out of that feeling. And so, what are some things that you can do instead of having that overwhelming to-do list? First of all, you can create a list of 3 needle moving priority tasks in each area of your life. So I want you to look at the personal area of your life, your work life if you work full time, and then also your business. And there might be some other areas of your life, but choose 3 priorities in each of tasks in each area of your life. And these are your must do's that move your business forward, your personal goals forward, your happiness forward, and anything else that you get done in that day is truly just a bonus. You can also try time blocking, but without the rigid scheduling. So instead of planning every single minute, set some focus blocks of time for those key high priority tasks. So for example, maybe you block out 9 to 11 a.m. for focused project time at work. Maybe you block out noon to 1 p.m. on your lunch break for those business tasks that you need to get done. And then maybe you block out 7 to 8 p.m. when you know things are kind of winding down for the night for you to take care of those household or personal tasks. Another idea is for you to batch similar tasks together. So grouping related tasks like emails or errands or content creation for your business, this reduces the mental switching that helps you get those tasks done faster. All right, so habit number 2 is multitasking everything. Now, I know that some women live and breathe by multitasking, but here's why this is a problem. Multitasking feels productive, but studies have shown and proven that it actually makes you 40% less efficient. And this is because constantly switching between tasks, like answering emails while you're trying to cook or trying to work while keeping the kids entertained, leads to mistakes, decreased focus, stress, and exhaustion. Again, because your brain is using so much energy to switch between those tasks. So instead of finishing tasks inefficiently, instead of finishing your tasks efficiently, you end up stretching everything out a lot longer and you feel really mentally drained because you're using up all of that energy. A client that I worked with, I remember talking to her, and she was notorious for trying to answer client messages while making dinner every evening. And she would share that this would always cause her so much stress because her son was also trying to get his homework done before dinner and was inevitably like asking questions of her. And she was trying to answer client messages, and she was also trying to pay attention to what she was cooking so that she didn't burn it. So she always became distracted, and sometimes she did burn dinner. Sometimes she ended up snapping at her son when he would ask her a question or for help with his homework. And then she would still end up having unanswered client messages when it was time to go to bed. And so instead of doing those 3 separate things really well, she felt like she was just failing in all aspects and she was totally drained by the end of the night. So here's some things that you can do instead. Now, this one we talked about already, but it applies to this too, about batching those tasks together that are similar. So again, setting specific times for your work, for your business, or for your home tasks instead of trying to do them all at one time. So instead of, again, like trying to check messages while you're making dinner, make dinner and then set aside 20 minutes of focused client check-in before you go to bed. Or if you don't want to do it in the evenings, schedule it earlier before you even cook dinner. And if you really need or want to do more than one thing at a time, my biggest piece of advice is to pair a high and a low brain power task together. So high brain power tasks are things like writing content, replying to emails, working on projects, listening or reading professional development, having a conversation with your kid, having a conversation with your spouse, things like that. Low brain power tasks are things like driving your kids to their sports practice, commuting to and from work, going for a walk, doing the dishes. Those types of things are low brain power tasks. So If you pair one of each of those together, then that is actually a really effective way of multitasking. Now, I want you to also try challenging yourself to just a single task. So choose a task for 25 minutes, whether it's work, business, or helping your kids. Set a timer for 25 minutes, focus solely on that task, turn everything off, and then take a 5-minute break. Walk away from what you're doing, go outside, get some fresh air, just completely leave that environment, and you'll notice that you get more done with less stress. Now, you might recognize that it is called the Pomodoro method, and I do recommend it for some people. For other people, it doesn't work, but give it a shot and see if that helps you. Now, habit number 3 is saying yes to everything. Many moms that I have worked with and that I have known feel really guilty telling someone no, whether it's to a work request, to volunteering, to social plans, to family favors, business collaborations, doing carpools for your kids. A lot of moms feel guilty saying no. But every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And often that no is to your own priorities. So this can lead to you being stretched too thin, overwhelmed, and constantly exhausted. Now, another personal story for you. Several years ago, again, before Harper was in our lives, before I had her. So this was a while ago because she's 6.5 now. Several years ago, I volunteered to serve as room mom for my bonus daughter's kindergarten class. And around this same time, I was planning my wedding and I had started a new job. And so it actually kind of makes me laugh a little bit looking back at this time because I was so insanely unrealistic about what I was trying to get done in a day and in a week. And I just wanted to be perfect in every aspect of my life. But honestly, I ended up a nervous wreck. And so every aspect of my life ended up suffering instead of me slowing down and focusing on one thing at a time. I tried to do everything all at once. So what can you do instead? Well, you can try a couple of different things. One of them is using the yes filter. So before you agree to anything, ask yourself, does this align with my top 3 priorities for this phase of my life? And if it doesn't align with either of those 3 priorities that you've set for that phase of your life, then the answer is no. You can also try setting a default 24-hour delayed response. So instead of immediately agreeing or instead of, trying to come up with like a really good excuse because you don't want to do something, you can use a very simple phrase like, that sounds great. I'll follow up with you in 24 hours to let you know if this is something I can commit to right now. This allows you that breathing room to where you're giving a response. You're not leaving them on red and ghosting them, right? But you're also not fully committing in that moment. You have time to evaluate if that's something you truly want to commit to. And you can also start practicing small no's, because the more that you practice saying no to the small things, the easier it gets to protect your time for the bigger things that matter the most to you. So this could be something as small as, no, I don't want to do carpool this week, or no, we're not going to do we're not going to do dinner with the family this week on Thursdays. Whatever that small no might be, just practice some small no's. And then habit number 4 is waiting for the perfect time. And I say that in air quotes if you're watching the video, waiting for the perfect time to start. Many working moms wait for the right time to start new habits, whether it's organizing their schedule, growing their business, or prioritizing self-care or their health, whatever it may be. But the truth is, there's really never going to be a perfect time, especially as a working mom, because work is always going to be busy, kids are always going to need our attention, and life is always going to throw surprises your way. That is just the nature of being a mom and a working mom. So the longer that you wait to start, the longer that you're going to stay stuck and stay in a aspect of your life that you're unhappy with. So what are some things that you can do instead? You can start small and start imperfectly. So instead of waiting again for the perfect time to launch your business or launch a new offer in your business, just dedicate 15 to 30 minutes a day on it and see what you can get done in those 15 to 30 minutes a day. You can also use the 5-minute rule. So if something takes you less than 5 minutes, just do it right now. Don't write it down. Don't, put it on your to-do list just to get that check mark. If it takes less than 5 minutes, just go ahead and do it, because small actions can really add up over time. And then I also want you to ask yourself, what is one small step that I can take today? So instead of looking at the big picture where you get overwhelmed and you're like, oh, I need to launch my business by July, instead of saying that, say, what is one small step that I can take today? What is one small thing that I can focus on that is manageable, that moves me forward, that I can do today? So we just uncovered 4 productivity habits that often lead to overwhelm among working moms, right? And recognizing these is a crucial first step, but truly transforming them requires actionable strategies and support. And that's exactly where Time Management Academy comes in. So I want you to imagine your life for a minute where you start your mornings with clarity and purpose, free from the usual chaos of trying to get out the door. You allocate dedicated time to your personal goals, to your health, to your self-care, and to your passions. And you consistently achieve your business milestones without compromising being in the moment with your family. This isn't some far-fetched dream. It is truly a reality for many moms that have gone through Time Management Academy before. And so here's what you can expect from Time Management Academy. Okay, it is a 3-week live program that is meticulously designed for working moms just like you. So whether you are managing a corporate career, you're running a side business, or both, TMA offers a truly proven system that adapts to your unique challenges and demands as a working mom. So you can expect customized frameworks that accommodate the unpredictability of being a working mom, techniques that prioritize your tasks effectively for you, ensuring that you're able to really focus on what truly matters most. And you have the strategies to carve out personal time without the guilt, fostering the balanced lifestyle that you really want. But don't just take my word for it. I want you to hear from one of my TMA students who is a brand photographer and business strategist. Her name is Tori. And she said, working with Laura as my time management coach has often been nothing short of life-changing. Her unique ability to help you see your time usage in a completely new light ensures that everything gets done while maintaining sanity and balance. So enrollment for the April cohort is open. I do cap it at 10 women per cohort, but this is your opportunity to invest in a system that not only enhances productivity, but also enriches the peacefulness and overall quality of your life. So I want you to head over to thelauraddavis.com/TMA to grab your spot. And remember that the doors close on March 27th, or if 10 women register, whichever one comes first, because I do cap this at only 10. So empower yourself with the tools and the support to take control of your time and thrive in every role that you cherish as a working mom. Thank you for joining me today. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more content tailored specifically to working moms seeking balance and success. And I will see you in the next episode.